What is going on, everybody? How are we all doing today? I am your host, Emmanuel Kingman, and with me for bonus episode number 10
Dun, dun, dun,
is
dun.
Mimi.
Hello.
Hello, love. So, hello, everybody. This is a live. We're live on YouTube,
Oh, I didn't
Facebook, and
know that
Twitter.
was happening. Thanks for the warning.
Well, I did say we were about to go live. I just guess you didn't listen.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, you caught it all right.
Catch it.
You're gonna catch it.
I guess it is what it is now.
Yeah. So yeah, we're live right now. It is New Year's Eve, and it'll be midnight in a few hours, but we'll be asleep by then because we don't really care for New Year's. And we have something to do. We have to drive up to.
Hi, Pete.
Hey Pete, how are you, my friend? We have to go up to Pennsylvania, so we're gonna be leaving at 5 in the morning.
COVID hell.
Yeah, COVID
Ugh.
hell, and then we have to drive back at on 5 in the morning Sunday. So we'll be doing 1,500 miles this weekend in 2 days road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about our vacation, our wonderful, wonderful vacation that was a week long. It was over Christmas and
Felt like an
Christmas Eve.
eternity, but like a good one.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think I collected some of myself that I've left in places that like up on the mountaintop. The energy that was up on the mountain, I think I left it up there, and then I went and collected it. I feel much more complete and grounded and more pure than I was before I went up there. How about you? Do you feel different at all?
I feel like I need to get a mountain house.
Yeah. Yeah, well, last time I went on vacation, I ended up moving to Georgia 3 weeks later. So now we went to the
So I'll
mountains.
cross my fingers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've taken little vacations since then, but this was the first time.
best.
This was like a bit of a what's it called after you get married? A honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Yeah, it was a bit of a honeymoon for us. As our first trip, just the two of us. It was so beautiful, and we're going to go over the trip here.
Day by day. We're going to give you the day by day play.
Yeah, and we'll
Play by
do
play.
and we'll do a little bit of the year in review as well. We're going to be I guess everyone kind of does that at this time of year. So we're gonna get into it. So we went to Sky Valley Mountains in
Sky
Georgia.
Valley, Georgia.
Yeah, Sky Valley, Georgia. We were in Georgia the whole time, but then you go through North Carolina just a little bit up the mountain and then back into Georgia. So that every time we leave, we go into North Carolina and then back into Georgia.
Tennessee's not too far off.
And South Carolina's right there as well. We actually were
the
like
Blue
stuck
Ridge Mountains, my favorite mountains.
Yeah, we were stuck in South Carolina traffic on the way home, and it took like 2 hours longer than it should have. We should not have gone that way, but we did.
Because we didn't want to leave. Just took forever to get home.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And it was funny, the day that we left, the morning that we were leaving, my cat Thomas was up in the tree out front, and I had to go get the ladder.
Delaying the vacation.
Yeah, but as above, so below. Just imagine the mountains for me is a tree for him. So he was up in the tree, and I had to go get my ladder to go pull him out, but he didn't want to come out. So he gripped on his claws onto the tree, and I'm trying to pull him out of the tree and almost fell off because he wouldn't come out. So I finally got him out, but it was that's how it worked out for us getting home too. It was like we kind of had to be yanked out by God, like, come on, get out of there. Even though you don't want to leave, come on, let's go. So as above, so below. And as soon as it happened, I was like, oh yeah, this is us when we leave the vacation.
It was me. I was like holding on, like,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
make me get in the car.
Yeah, she's still holding on.
Nah. But I am looking at houses.
Yeah, she's still holding on. So we went there. Now you have it laid out a little bit for us. Do you want to break down what?
Yeah, my memory always needs good improvements. So I kind of wrote down and went over with you the day by day. Play by play.
And here's a Christmas present. I don't know if you guys can see it. The light's hitting it a little bit, but it says Jesus and coffee. Mimi got this for me. It's my favorite cup ever.
I figured he would like that. Day one, the drive.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't that bad. I wanted to stop in Helen, Georgia, because it always looked like a cute little place to stop and touristy place. So we went there, and it was a little disappointing. It wasn't what I expected. And so we kept on.
Yeah, well, on the drive up there, she wanted to stop like every 2 hours to get coffee and go to the bathroom.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
So, but we did stop in Helen. It was cool. It was like this little town. I don't know. It was like
there's like little Germany type buildings, and
like the Dutch. It reminded me of the Dutch.
Yeah, but it was much smaller than I guess I envisioned it to be. I thought it was a much bigger place with a lot more to do.
Yeah.
So we didn't, and it was very.
It was like almost dinner time, so like nothing was open. It was like Mondays, everything was closed.
Yeah, everything was closed Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Sundays.
Yeah, whatever day we went somewhere,
everywhere.
The entire town was like closed that day.
Yeah.
So it was like God was really guiding us on where we were going and what we were doing. So it was like, so we went to dinner because it was the only place that was open. And when we got there, they only served one thing, and we didn't even know that. They're like,
yeah. So we went to dinner at the Dillard House, which is close to where we stayed. It's a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
You go in, and it's kind of served family style, and you don't really get to choose what you're going to have. You just sit down, and they're like, your food will be out in a second. And it comes out, and it was delicious. It was, we had some fried chicken. We had, what else?
All
green
sorts
beans,
of vegetables, carrots, some kind of corn thing,
pudding.
Yeah, it was weird.
Biscuits.
Yeah, the biscuits were
ham,
good. Yeah, not ham.
Fried zucchini. That was
pork,
really good.
wasn't it? Well,
no, it was ham.
It's like pig anyway.
It was ham.
Yeah,
and mashed potatoes, I think. And I think that was
the mashed potatoes were delicious.
Everything was so good.
The whole thing was really well done. But it was weird. As soon as you sit down, they say, instead of giving you a menu, they're like, oh, it'll be right out. And I was just like, wait, what just happened?
Order? It's like, what did I order? We passed, I guess we walked by the sign that says like what today's menu is.
Yeah, I thought that was just like the specials. Like, okay, cool.
That was a nice dinner.
Yeah, it was a nice dinner. It was only what, like $40?
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah,
it was really good.
And I asked for more chicken, and they brought that out right away. We didn't get charged extra for it or anything. So, and they had dessert too if we wanted that. I guess that probably would have been included as well. It was like some country club or something that we went to.
I forget if it's like a golf.
Yeah,
there's a lot of golfing places over there.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been part of that. I think that was really it for day one. Just getting to the chalet and unloading and unpacking and hitting the grocery store.
And this place was creepy when we first came in.
It was just a little man.
No, there was a few weird things. Like, there was a couple weird things on the fireplace, but it had a weird energy to it. We prayed before we brought anything in, and I made sure I opened all the doors. I didn't want any dead bodies falling out. But we couldn't get into the one room that was next to our bedroom, actually.
We weren't supposed to. It was locked for storage and whatever.
Yeah, we don't know what was in there. We don't know if it's storage or what. It could have been a whole team of people in there just watching us. We don't know.
Yeah.
You're just assuming it was a locked door with nothing in it.
It was an older chalet, so it wasn't like, it was very like old lady furniture, very woodsy.
Well, I got to tell you, I connected with Bigfoot, and I'm not a Bigfoot person. If you guys are familiar with the show, I don't talk about Bigfoot.
It's the first I'm hearing of this, guys. So
I have a Bigfoot shirt I bought while there. It's Hide and Seek Champion. No, this is not the first time you're hearing about this. Stop lying.
It is. First time I remember it.
Yeah, maybe remember it. I said it a bunch of times to you.
Must have tuned it out.
Yeah, don't try making me look like a liar on here. I connected with Bigfoot. I told you the first night I connected with Bigfoot, I was having crazy dreams.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Occupy Wallets. I was having a crazy dream about Bigfoot. Several of them. I mean, it was like I was interacting with him. I was connecting with Bigfoot in a way I never... thank you. I never connected with Bigfoot before. And I always kind of like studied it a little bit when I first got awakened, but I never got into it. I was like, yeah, it's whatever. But when I was there, I was connecting with Bigfoot, man. It was weird. I gotta tell you, I don't
Sounds
know.
weird.
It felt like maybe there was a Bigfoot in that locked room or something. I don't know. I don't actually think that, but it's just it was
Oh,
there was
man.
something there was an energy that was in and around the house that I very much felt we had to pray.
Where's your little Bigfoot?
I'll get it when it's time. I had to pray because it didn't feel right. It felt like we were invading the space. We were guests in an Airbnb. So there's energies that just live in the woods. We're on the mountain, we're in the woods. It's very private up there. So there are things that just get familiar with the area and stay there. But yeah, I connected with Bigfoot for sure. We didn't see any. Uh which I'm glad, but it was like the first 2.5 days I was connecting with Bigfoot all the time, and it was like, I please don't show yourself to me. I don't want to see a Bigfoot. And Mimi was terrified that we are going to see a bear.
Yeah. Let's save that for the
We'll
right
get
time.
there. But she was terrified to see a bear. So I was
super
like,
terrified.
so I was like, oh, she's gonna get us to see a Bigfoot because she's trying to bring this bear because she has the spirit of fear in her about a bear. So she's gonna actually bring a Bigfoot because that's what I'm connecting with.
It's not that I was scared to see a bear. It was like I would be scared if it was close enough to be near me. If it was afar, I wouldn't mind.
You saw a dog and thought it was a bear.
Listen, and that was not holding it until the right time.
Okay, well, hey, you
get your little Bigfoot and show it now.
All right, fine.
I don't have a Bigfoot.
Here, I bought this little Bigfoot.
Little meditating Bigfoot.
Little meditating
Sasquatch.
Bigfoot. Yeah. So.
All right, day 2. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. So day 1, it was cool getting to know the place, and once we checked all the rooms and found everything, it had 3 floors. Super cool. Kitchen was tiny, but it had a huge dining room. It had an open living room. The way
beautiful fireplace.
Yeah, beautiful fireplace. Kitchen table, or not kitchen, but dinner table was very large. Chandelier. We had a deck that went around the entirety of the house. We had so the upstairs we didn't use too often because it was just 2 beds.
Just a loft with 2 beds. Yeah, single
and
beds.
A bathroom. And it was like overlooking the living room. So it was super cool. Like if we had the kids there, they would have been up there, and it would have been just like a cool thing. It's like one of those things where you see in like old time cabins or whatever, where like you call the kids and they just like, they look over the railing and they're like, what do you want?
I went up there and meditated one morning. It was a little creepy.
Yeah, I wasn't going to meditate up there.
But let's talk about the bedroom. We had a king size bed, which we were like,
huge.
I couldn't even reach him. It was like the best sleep, after the first night, because the first night was hard to fall asleep because I wasn't surrounded by dogs and squished
so we're
like
usually
this, like a contortionist.
Usually it's the 2 of us with 2 dogs that both lay on top of her. One is at
my feet, under the covers.
One is under the covers, in and out all night long, just getting too hot and too cold. So she goes in and out, and it's annoying. Wakes us up every time.
But she's so comfy and warm at my feet.
She's not even all that bad. The other one's fat, and she just lays on you, just plops down and doesn't want to move.
Pushes on you like really hard.
Yeah. So when we had the king size, and we only have a queen size bed, but I mean it's a big bed, typically. But when you have 4 living beings trying to sleep in there, and we have the 2 cats.
The cats,
the cats will come in there with us sometimes. So it was just the 2 of us. It was hard to fall asleep, and it was a weird energy. I'm telling you, like when I was connecting with that Bigfoot, it was like we were disturbing its area. Like I'm not
a shaman. I wouldn't classify myself as a shaman.
What does that have to do with anything?
I was commenting.
Oh,
to the comment.
Oh yeah, we're not shamans, but I mean mystics maybe. In a way, magic with a K through Jesus Christ.
So waking up, folks, just like you and everyone else.
Well, that's what she
all
says.
At different stages.
Yeah, but we'll get to the Matrix 4 in a little bit.
Okay, we didn't get there yet. All right,
yeah,
so
not
day
there.
2.
So day 2.
Tallulah Gorge. Holy cow. So Tallulah Gorge is it goes 1,000 feet down. It's 2 miles wide. There's a ton of trails that you can take. There's like expert level trails and then easier trails. And so we took about it was a 2.5. Well, we took a little walk first to the top of the gorge, looking down at everything. Then turned around and went the other way to go down the steps to get to the suspension bridge. So we went down. I wrote it down. 750 steps to the bridge, and then another 312 steps to the base of Hurricane Falls. Now we could have went like 140 steps more, but you needed a permit to get to the actual gorge floor. You couldn't. It was a little more treacherous and rocky, so we didn't do that. But let me tell you, 2,124 steps is a lot of steps for anyone.
Well,
Young, old, it's a lot of steps.
Well, let's say first we went up. We
Yeah.
were looking down. We're both afraid of heights.
Yeah, we're looking down at the suspension bridge, which is only 80 feet off the floor of the gorge. So we're what, 920 feet up looking down?
Yeah, we were up there, man.
Yeah.
And they have railings. You know, it's completely done up. Like they have steps,
Yeah, there's
literal
safety.
stairs that
Yeah.
are straight down. You know, you go down like 10,
Very, very steep
10, 20
stairs.
steps. Yeah. And then there's a platform, and then 10, 20, and then platform. But the platforms
Mhm.
aren't that big. They're like some are like 3 feet, some are like 8 feet. You know, they're not that big.
Right.
But
And they're also the graded steps, so you can like see through them, which kind of doesn't help with people with like vertigo or
Right.
fear of heights.
So
or
when we're at the top,
aching
you know,
thighs.
they have a railing all around there, but it's still, you know, it's a nice solid railing. I don't want to say that it's not structurally sound, but being afraid of heights, it's like, you know, we're super high up, but I was really trying to conquer my fear, so I was
Yeah.
looking down over it. Mimi was as
Mhm.
well. You know, we're standing back, but we're holding on, and it's terrifying to someone who's afraid of heights to look down. It feels like you're just gonna fall, like all of a sudden, like it's pulling you and it's gonna pull
Yeah.
you down. For I don't know why it feels that way, but
Even the suspension bridge being only 80 feet from the bottom was still
I liked being on the
high and a little
suspension
scary
bridge.
just because it was like wiggling and a
Yeah.
bunch of people are, trying to cross it, and you just, you're held up by cables. It's a little
Yeah.
nerve wracking, but that was good. It was cool. We went across, went down a little
Right.
more.
So, but I was gonna say, when we're at the top, when we're looking at this thing, we see that there's rocks all over. There's this rock. Now, I don't know if my audience is completely familiar with the theory that some mountains are melted buildings from the last reset, that there was some kind of directed energy weapon, or maybe the sun exploded, or maybe some kind of comet hit and burned up the atmosphere and hit the Americas, and that's what caused the mud floods. And these mountains aren't necessarily mountains, and it's worldwide, that they're not necessarily mountains that have been carved into, but more that they were buildings that were made of something, and then it heated up so much that it melted, and then once the heat went away, then it was where it is, and now it looks like people carved buildings into the sides of mountains. But so when we're there, it very much has the feel that, oh, this was a structure. This isn't just some natural force. This was a structure that is covered in mud and dirt and now appears to be something else.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything slides to the
Yeah.
side.
It was all
It's
slanted.
yeah, mhm.
Yeah, the whole thing, it was slanted, and a gorge
In
could
like
be.
plates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, very much like plates. Like and
Mhm.
it's all let's see, it's like slanted like this, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, and another one, and there's just so many different things happening and a gorge could very much be created by a rock from quote unquote space, or a directed energy weapon strong enough. You know, I don't know how it would happen, but from a satellite or whatever, maybe, something definitely struck the ground, created this gorge. And we have some pictures. I mean, there's little structures at the bottom of the gorge that look like step pyramids. I mean, they're small.
Yeah,
But
they're just creations that shouldn't be at the bottom of a gorge, I
yeah,
wouldn't think. They're, like they're very very flat, very
they're
um
step pyramids,
yeah, they're just
like the like
too cleanly cut.
Mesoamerica. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's right next to the waterfall, which would be like some kind of station. So the whole time that we're there at the Tallulah Falls Gorge,
Mhm.
the whole time I'm there, I'm like, this is something that was destroyed. That this was some kind of civilization was here, and this gorge was carved out by something hitting the earth. Nomad podcast just said Carrington event
Possible.
possible. You know,
Very possible.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that is a good assumption actually, because it would create that kind of veiny type of thing going on. So
It's very cool to see up close and to be able to take pictures and, be on site doing like field research essentially,
mhm.
you know.
And if you're familiar with the concept that there's water in the earth, like there's even water under the waters, that when you there's like lakes under oceans, and when you start to understand that there's water under the land, that maybe that river that was flowing was just under land and then it was created. And Occupy Wallace just said any psychic vibe along with. Uh, I don't really want to say there was a psychic vibe. It was just more of a feeling. So maybe if you want to call that a psychic vibe, it was just I very much felt that it was a
That
structure.
something happened there to create this
Yeah,
giant gorge essentially.
yeah, that it wasn't
Yeah.
just a natural thing.
Yeah.
And uh, how many steps did we go down total?
We went down 1062. So if you double that, the 2000, whatever that equals, I said it
Yeah,
earlier,
21.
2124.
Yeah,
Man,
it was tough getting
burning
up.
calves for the first 3 days of
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah, it was
Like burning. You couldn't even stand up off the couch without feeling those steps again and again and again.
super tough getting up those steps. You had to keep stopping. There were some old people that were coming up when we were going down. And then when we came up, I'm like, man, how did they do that? Like they were probably out of commission for a
Yeah, and
week.
that there was like a little kid that got tired and the dad picked him up and I'm like, man, that sucks.
There
Got to
was,
carry a kid up the
yeah,
steps on
yeah.
top of, yourself. Is like, oh,
There was this one girl, well, I don't know, girl, maybe a young woman, I'll say, and she was large, and it was a warm day. It was like the rest of the vacation was hot. It was like 70s and
they were
80s, but
hard
that day was
steps.
like 50, and she was wearing a big old jacket. I don't know
Mm.
how she could
Yeah, it was
have
hot and it was
survived.
raining too a little bit, like
Yeah, a little bit.
sprinkling the whole time. So it was kind of nice to relieve the heat of it all, but it was also, man, my legs were shaking so bad. By the
Oh
time I
yeah,
got to the top of the steps, like my legs were jello for a long time.
yeah, yeah. So that was super cool. So after that, what did we do that day?
Dinner.
Yeah.
Steak dinner.
Oh yeah, so I cooked steak for us. That was
You did
indoors this
steak and
time.
shrimp and vegetables and
Yeah,
some
I fried
wine.
up the shrimp in butter,
Mhm.
and it's the first time I ever had wine with dinner. It was delicious. It
Mm.
was you chose the wine.
Stella Rosa Black.
Yeah, it was
Tastes like, grape juice.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. I never had wine before. I
It's
was never
very
a wine
easy to
drinker.
drink, but very sweet.
Yeah. Occupy Wall says worth it though. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally
This is
worth it
set.
to see the falls. They have 6 waterfalls there, and I think we saw 3 of
Yeah, I don't
them. I
remember.
think it was either 3 or 4 of the ones that were there that we
The
saw.
suspension bridge was super cool though. It really
Mhm.
helped me conquer my fears. And before we went on the trip, I was psychically picking up on seeing, in my surroundings, God was showing me,
Chills.
yeah, God was showing me that I was going to be overcoming my fear of heights on this trip. So I took that head on. So it was kind of, when I'm looking over the bridge, I'm like, okay, it's not so scary. And it was just, it was definitely a great part of the trip. That's where I got the shirt from right away. Hide and seek champion Bigfoot. That's where I got it from. And we got some other cool little things
I just got like a magnet and a penny. I
Yeah.
always like to get the crushed penny because it's, I'm cheap. No,
Yeah.
no, we have a collection of little pennies from every time I would take the kids somewhere because it was cheaper and I was a single mom, and so we would collect the pennies, 51 cents.
Mhm.
No biggie.
Yeah.
We loved getting a magnet and getting a penny from everywhere.
Oh, and that place was super clean too.
It
We
was.
always keep gloves and trash bags with it just in case, and
Hmm.
there was
We
nothing.
didn't have anything to clean up there.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't. That's right.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, after there we had dinner and then we went back.
Played some cards, I think.
Yeah, played cards. Yeah, we didn't watch. Our cell phones were in our Sparrow gear bags.
Hmm.
Well, mine was, and I kept it in the basement. I didn't even look at my phone for
Yeah, I
3
tried to
days.
keep letting my phone die and then, charge it all the
We
way up
had
for when we needed to take pictures.
Yeah, I forgot my charger at home. I didn't even have a charger with me, so because I didn't care.
Yeah,
I would
it was
charge it in the
great.
car when I
It
had
was
to,
great
but
not being, hooked to that.
yeah, it was, and we only had one TV in the house, no computers, no tablets, or none of that, no laptops. We
Hmm.
had one TV, which we watched TV a little bit towards the end, but the first few
Yeah,
days, we nothing. Like we are connecting with nature, we're connecting with each other. There was a trip for us,
yeah.
and what makes us us is that Jesus is in between us, that we both look to Jesus first, and then that's what really brings us together, and it really helps us through all of our hard times. I mean, you guys see on the podcast how her and I joke around with each other the way that we do. Well, we do that all the time, and we work through things in that manner because it's just how God guided us to do so, and it's because we both look to God first that it makes it easier. Yeah, definitely amen for that.
Oh, so that was what, the first or second day?
That
Second
was the
day.
second day.
So the second day. Okay, so we were also across from a little chapel. Like you could see a chapel from our back
Oh yeah,
deck.
super cool.
And every hour it would play bells, let you know what time it was. And at 9 o'clock it played taps every night. And during Christmas it played like some special bell tunes.
Hmm.
So it was really nice to hear that every hour. I loved it. I loved that.
Yeah, it was like right out our back door.
Hmm.
I mean, it was awesome. We had no idea it was there. There were actually two churches right out back
I
of our
kind of
window.
had an inkling since I've been following this Facebook, page before we went,
I didn't.
that somebody had mentioned that there was a chapel, but I was like, I don't want to say anything because we might not be near that. I didn't know the exact location of our chalet, so I didn't want to mention that.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that because we went to both of those churches. It was the first time I ever went to church, and the second time I ever went to church. So it was very cool. But next,
Day 3.
day 3, we
We only have a
saw,
limited amount of time here.
yeah, we saw the Matrix for was it
Which
Resurrections?
will be its own episode, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think Andy from the Deep Share said
Yeah,
he's
I think we're
gonna
gonna do
do a
something.
round table because
Hmm.
apparently nobody liked it, and I loved it.
And
So
I fell asleep in the beginning, so I'm on the fence there.
well, she fell asleep. Okay, so let me explain
Here we
something
go.
a
I'm gonna
little
put
bit.
my notes down because it's gonna take a while. I
No,
might
it's
fall
not.
asleep again.
I just want to explain something that when people are getting worked on, when they're having etheric surgery, when you start having it, you have to fall asleep in order for them to do what they're going to do. I've stayed awake in the sleep world enough that I don't, it just happens to me. I don't need to go into a sleep state in order to experience it because I'm always in a sleep state when I'm in my waking state. I'm moving through both, and this is why I'm psychic and telepathic and I hear thoughts and all that stuff, is because I'm there and here at the same time all at once. So when she falls asleep, I know why, because I am essentially working on her, that I feel like coming into me and I'm sharing it with her. So I wasn't surprised she fell asleep, and we were it was us two and two
Yeah,
others.
and an older couple. That was
Yeah,
it. 4 people watching this movie.
and it was like
It just came
$6 a
out.
ticket. It was like $20
Little tiny movie
for us and
theater, Ruby
popcorn,
Cinemas, I think it was called.
something like that.
Ruby
Yeah, it was a
Cinemas
little North
in North
Carolina,
Carolina. Yeah.
and the whole parking lot was filled up. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be there, but they must
I
have
don't know
seen
what
Spider
other
Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider Man was there. So it was the matinee. It was like a 1 o'clock show. So we'll get into that movie
On a future episode.
Yeah, but I will say this, that it was my life was played out on the screen, and not necessarily my waking life, but my meditative life. Now, you've all heard me talk about me having possible implants in my body, that I've been abducted my entire life. This is all true. I don't play this up for anybody. It's not cool to be a crazy person, but I just speak the truth because that's what I do. So, to me, what it felt like was I don't know who they, okay? I just want to say that my meditations were taken from me, what I experienced, and it was put on the screen in this movie. That essentially that's how it really felt. I mean, the character's name, Thomas Anderson, Todd Armstrong. Then you have Trinity, who was Tiffany, and you have Margaret, who was Mary. Like I'm the Jesus character, Neo. Well, Neo, Thomas Anderson gets changed into Neo. Todd Armstrong gets changed into Emmanuel Kingman. And then he's with his faithful companion. And so Mary gets turned into Margaret. And just like in the movie, Trinity hated the name Tiffany so much that she slapped the guy at the end for changing the name to that. Well, Mimi is called Mimi because she doesn't like the name Margaret. It's just it lines up, and I'm telling you, like almost exact things, like word for word in some scenarios, are things that I've said to different beings in my meditations. They are exact scenarios that were worked out in my meditations, things that I do, stopping time, rewinding it, doing all that stuff. It's like they saw my meditation and they put it on the
They
screen.
made a movie.
Yeah. So, I don't know if it's actually my stuff that's taken, or they're just it's influencing it, but this whole trip was to get the machine out of me. She was from the same county as me, moved 20 years earlier. Like Neo got put to sleep for 20 years, so Trinity was taken
Yeah,
away
this
for
was a
20
good.
years.
Yeah.
And we're from the same little county, 750 miles away from where we live
Just
now.
far enough apart, huh?
Yeah. And they were feeding me blue pills as I was a drug addict.
Blanket.
And to keep me asleep, they were feeding me blue pills. I wasn't some video game creator, though. I was some fuck up. So, a little bit of the details weren't exact, but a lot of it was my life playing out on the screen. So, to me, I didn't have too many expectations for the movie. I knew it would be a bunch of Hollywood nonsense that they were trying to, uh, plead to be saved in some sense, which they did at the end. They're saying like, "Oh, some of the machines want to help." So, that is what it is. And it was weird with Morpheus, but it was a cool concept.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
But it's a cool concept that because Lawrence Fishburne probably didn't want to do the movie or whatever. Maybe they didn't ask him. I don't know. But the way that they did it, they're like, oh, okay, this new character isn't Morpheus, but it's Morpheus and Smith combined that are making up this Matrix version of Morpheus. So it made sense. And it was a cool concept of how do you do a reboot? How do you try to reenact a franchise that's very much everyone idolizes?
They do it all the time.
Yeah, and they're never good. Sequels always suck. But I felt this was really well done in the way that it happened. So, to me, I didn't have any expectations, and then I see my meditations and my life playing out on the screen. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can get into this. So it was cool in that sense. But anyway, it was a fun experience for us. And then after that, we went and did a little Christmas shopping.
Yeah, we did some touristy stuff.
Yeah, we
walked
went
the streets,
the shops.
The shops in Franklin, North Carolina.
No, Clayton that day. We did Franklin another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we had notes on this.
Yeah,
thought we
Clayton.
got this right.
Day 3, Clayton.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went so the way that these shops are all set up, super cool, because it's even when we're in these towns and they're valleys, they're still mountainous, so that everything is like bi-level, and all these different stores, you don't even have to go outside to go from one store to another. They just have holes. They don't
Yeah,
have
like in the
walls.
walls. You just go
You just
from store
walk.
to
Yeah,
store, like inside. It
they
was
don't have
cool.
walls, and they also have basements. So you go down a flight of stairs, and then you're in the store. Like, I'm like, wait, where am I? Like, how did I
How
end
do I
up in
get
this
back to
place?
where I
Because
was?
I'm like trying to find some stuff, and we
Yeah.
found the one Mandela effect thing. That was super cool. Right, I took a picture of it. It was so the farmer,
So like farmer holding the little rake
yeah, the
and the
farmer holding the
wife.
thing, and his wife is like grilling him, right? The old woman, she's staring hard at him. Well, in the new version of it, the Mandela effect version, it's just it's his daughter, and she's staring straight ahead instead of staring at the husband. So I got a picture of that. It was super cool, and I told the woman, I'm like, hey, I mean, it was like $35, I think, for a set of these cups. They were like gold and had pictures on them. I didn't want it. I told her about it. I was like, hey, look this up. And so I'm sure she did. She overheard us speaking about it, and then I told her so she didn't have to be all shy about it. But that was super cool. So then that day we
I
had
just checked
dinner.
out for a minute. I don't know what he's talking about.
uh,
Sorry, I
ab-
was reading my notes,
about
so
the
I checked out a
farmer.
little.
It
Okay. Okay.
doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yeah, so then at dinner we went to Fortify Pie, the best food I've ever had in my life.
It's a pizza place in Clayton, and it was
It was
delicious.
Minnesota.
We split a cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, and a
Oh,
Caesar salad with
and
pumpkin
fried
seeds.
mozzarella, and then we brought home wings and pizza because it was so
It was
good.
so good. It was the best food of my life. I'm not even kidding.
We weren't like
It felt
watching
like
our
Minnesota to
food
me.
intake on vacation. We just had fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, seriously, best food of my life. I've been all over the
It was
country as a truck
really, really
driver, and I
good.
ate at a lot of different
So good that we got
establishments.
it twice in our the
Yeah.
week that we stayed. Yeah.
Yeah, we went back the last
And we
day.
each got our own cheeseburger and
Yeah.
pizza and fries and a salad and fried mozzarella.
Yeah.
We ate so much.
Yes, we did it.
So many steaks, so many.
It was a great
So
atmosphere
much.
in the place too. There was a bar, there were TVs everywhere, and it was two sections of it. It was like
The people
completely
were really
packed.
nice.
Nobody's
Yeah.
wearing masks nowhere, none of that BS mask stuff. It was heaven for us, really.
Yeah.
Uh, so after that, the next day was that new Christmas Eve?
No. So the next day would be the 23rd.
So what did we do that day? Talking to
I
the mic.
guess we went back to North Carolina. So we
Oh
were
yeah.
going to go. So before
So
we
this is when I
left for
took
the
you to the
trip,
jewelry store.
he said, I want you to find a jewelry store. We're going to go to a jewelry store sometime during our vacation. So I wasn't like concerned. I was a little like,
She thought I was
what's he
gonna
up to?
propose,
No, I
so
didn't think that, but I was like, I'm not really sure
that it was
why
a
he wants me
possibility.
to, go. I figured you would pick something out and just give it to me, but this was great. So we did eventually, after lots and lots of stops, we found a nice little jewelry store, and I got this pretty little necklace right here.
Yeah,
Oh, Jimmy
Pete, you should definitely
Neutron.
take a Christmas vacation. It was the most magical time of our
I will give
lives.
you the information for Miss Amy and Mr. Michael who rented us
No,
the
we won't because
Airbnb.
we'll be
Yes, we
staying
will.
there again next year.
We can share the Airbnb. That's the beauty of an Airbnb.
Well, not at the same time, we can't.
And we'll see if she has contact information for any of the neighboring chalets that were near us, because there was quite a few.
Yeah, Sky Valley, Georgia, if you guys are
Most
interested.
beautiful, quaint little.
It was only $700
space.
for 7 days. $711 for 7 days.
Yeah, we got a magical deal on that.
Yeah,
I
super
don't know if
cool.
anybody's ever going to find it that cheap.
I know.
So
anyway,
jewelry store.
Yeah, so I took you to the jewelry store because so you had asked me for when we're getting each other Christmas gifts, you had mentioned
That my chain broke.
right, you wanted a new
Yeah.
chain. So
Mhm.
so
So I
my
thought, yeah.
yeah, so my reasoning for doing it there on vacation was it was either I was going to have to stop in between work and going home in Savannah somewhere to get you to go look for a necklace, or I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to be on vacation before Christmas, and I'm going to be doing some looking around. I might as well just take you there and
let her
do it.
pick it, which was such a wonderful idea. I
Yeah.
recommend that for all the men out there. Let them
Yeah. Are you wearing it right
pick
now?
their own.
Show the camera.
I don't know if you can quite see,
Yeah, you
but
can.
it's my little Jimmy Neutron
Yeah.
necklace.
You
That's what
see
I
it
call it.
dancing in the middle,
Oh
the
yeah,
way the
it's
light hits it.
as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yep, that's what I want." Because he was like, "You can get whatever. You don't have to get a necklace. If you
Mhm.
see a bracelet, earrings, whatever." So we just looked around, and this just stood out to me.
And the
And
guy gave us $50 off.
yeah, and I almost got the earrings that matched, but I didn't like
Yeah,
them
they
as
weren't so
much.
much. Yeah, they were too
Yeah,
big.
yeah, I didn't like them as much as the earrings I normally wear. So
Yeah, because it was like
anyway,
the charm, was just like that size and just like dangling from the ear, and the way the
mhm,
light hit it, it didn't hit the
wasn't the
same.
same. Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, so we got that. We
Yep.
got a lot of gifts for our children,
Mhm.
and
We went
others.
to that little art it was like an art gallery, sort of. It was like a local crafters store where they, for every purchase, they donated, what was it, food to the local food bank. And for every purchase,
Yeah,
the artists that make the things in there would donate 10% of their profit
yeah.
to
So
the
it's all
local
super
food bank.
expensive.
So, but,
It was like $80 for a cutting board.
yeah, I guess it depends on
Seriously.
the artist. So,
Yeah, it was. It was.
yeah,
I was going to buy this cutting board. It was $80,
they did have some nice things
and it
in
was a
there
cutting
that
board.
were,
It was ridiculously priced, but it was because they were
the
doing
concept
so
was
much. The money was
wonderful.
going to so many different places. Uh, so
And the
we did
owners
buy
were
some
very
stuff.
sweet.
I
Yeah, I bought some local honey for like super cheap. That was the cheapest honey I found anywhere. It was like $7
$7.
for a big old jar. And if they would have had more, I would have got all of it.
Yeah, we saw a tiny jar for $33 somewhere
Hmm.
else.
I'm not sure what kind of cutting board it was. It was just like a plain, it really was a plain board. I want to say almost like what my mom got us for
NFT
Christmas.
has something to do with cryptocurrency. That's
Yeah.
something token. I
But
forget
I don't
what it
even
is.
know what
It's
kind
like
of
not
board
a
it
real
was. I just
thing.
know that it was a plain old board, but that,
Yeah,
I
it was
say
like a
that, but I
design
don't
on
know what
it.
it takes to make a cutting board. So
Yeah,
a little effort, I'm sure.
but I mean, they had a lot of cool stuff. I got one of those neck warmers that you put in the microwave or the freezer, and I
Yeah,
got
like a
that.
little rice
Yeah,
pack thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
that's day 3 in a nut. Oh, we stopped by the tubing place to check it out. We didn't realize it was like
and the
literally right up the street, guys. Right up the street. You could go
yeah,
tubing.
come go that
What?
yeah this way.
This way?
Come
This way? This way?
this towards me.
I
Yeah,
don't care if my head is blocked.
well, I think the audience does.
I don't think they
It's a
do. I
bother.
don't think they care. The 4
Okay,
watchers.
but she wouldn't allow me to do the
Now,
zip
don't
line.
you lie. Now you're lying. We stopped at
She
the
wouldn't
zip
do it
line
with me.
place, and
I was
he
trying to
had
do a
to
zip
ask this
line, and she
question in
wouldn't
front
do
of
it
me.
with
He
me.
said, "How high up are you?" He was asking them. And the lady said, "Oh, about 200 and I didn't hear anything after 200. I was like, "That's high enough, and that's too high for me." So I was like, "Yeah, no."
And the woman wasn't very helpful either, because, well, firstly, she had I don't know why she was working with her baby. It was like a
Why
newborn
are you
baby.
judging?
I'm not
You
judging.
can see me, Nomad. I know you can see me.
I'm not judging, but uh, her baby was crying while I'm asking her questions, and she was paying attention to her baby, so she wasn't very helpful. I was asking her,
I had to bring
how
my babies
long?
to work many times, so
Okay,
I feel for
okay,
her.
but so when I ask her how long, she goes, "Oh, well, it depends on your weight." Like,
It depends on the person, she said. And I guess
but you
that
didn't
means,
give me any kind of estimate. She just said it just depends on the person,
yeah, it would
and
take me
that was the
forever.
second thing that I asked her. But the first time she was even more ambiguous about it. Like, she was not trying to sell me on this
He
thing at all.
secretly didn't want to go anyway. He's just
No,
glad
I
I
was
didn't want
afraid
to
to
go.
go because I'm afraid of heights, and I wanted a companion to go with me, and I
I was
wanted
gonna
maybe
cheer
a
you on.
salesman to talk me into it, but neither of those things happened. So I was pissed off about it, honestly. That was the one thing I really wanted to do, and we didn't do it, and I feel like we missed an opportunity that could have happened.
I didn't
It
miss an
was the one thing I
opportunity I
wanted to
didn't
do on
want
the
to do.
trip that didn't happen. So
Can't do
anyway,
it.
yeah. So
I was
anyway,
willing to
so
cheer
I'm gonna
you all the
do.
way down.
I know my daughter Maya will do it. So next time we go near a zip line, Maya and I will do it or something like that because
Or something
she
like
does the
that.
slingshots, that sling you in the air
Oh
at the
gosh.
boardwalk. She's done all that
No.
type of crazy stuff. I haven't done anything like that, so I'll do the zip line. I think that's probably fairly safe. But anyway, so the
So
next
on to
day,
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, what do we do on Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve,
We did nothing, right?
we did
Oh no,
go
we
we
did
did
go
go
out. Yeah,
tubing
we
in
went
the
tubing.
morning. We
Yeah, it was
went back
fun.
to the tubing place, and it was like $35 a person for 2 hours.
A little expensive.
And I had a magic carpet ride on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
the little
thing
conveyor belt that
that takes you
that
up
you
to the
stand
top.
on to go to the top was called magic carpet rides. Thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And they have fake snow, of course, because it wasn't cold
yeah,
enough. I mean, we were sweating.
super fun.
It was
I
60
loved it.
it was 60 or warmer from like the third day on. From the Matrix
Yeah, it was
day
hot.
on, it was hot.
When we got to Tallulah Gorge on the second day, I had on like a heavy jacket and a scarf, and I had a hat, and I was prepared with gloves. And
Oh
by the end
yeah.
of the walk, he was carrying my jacket, my scarf, my hat,
Yeah, we had on two pairs of socks because
two shirts.
we're in Georgia. I mean, it's still 80 degrees here today and yesterday. Well, so occupy while it's just so warmer is better. It's not that it's not better. We like the warm, but we were dressed for the cold. We were
Yeah,
going
we
to
were
the mountains.
prepared.
Yeah, most all of my birthday gifts were cold weather things to keep warm for when we were doing these hikes and all. So we were dressed for cold
Winter
weather. Yeah, and
in the
God was like,
mountains.
"Nah, it'll be warm for you, and then it'll be
Yeah.
even hotter when you get back." So, uh, you know, it when we're doing these outdoors things, they're physical things. So we're sweating,
Mhm.
but we're trying to wear like two pairs of socks because,
Just in case.
yeah, just in case you don't want your toes to get cold. Like that's the worst thing. And then all of a sudden your feet are sweating, and it's like, oh man, what's going on? So we
So,
did the
yes.
tubing.
Yep, they also had a little skating rink there. We didn't do that. It was,
Yeah,
like, mostly water because again, it was hot.
yeah, it
Uh,
was
they
slush.
had a mountain coaster, which we didn't do
Yeah, because that
either.
was not worth it.
Price-wise, I don't
Yeah.
think it would've been worth it, and I really thought, or I was under the assumption that it kinda went through the woods a little bit, but really it's, like, a very narrow space. It just kinda weaves back and forth, and it just didn't seem exciting enough for me to wanna try it. I was totally down with tubing for 2 hours. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even do 2 hours. We did like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we went maybe 6 or 7 times, I
I think
think,
we did
and
more than that. I think we did 6 or 7 in the first hour, and then because we were aiming for a 6 because
mhm.
there's a line, you can't just go freely. There's only 2 tubing,
Right.
slides that you can go down, and you can go together, you can go separately. We did both. We have a video of each,
Yeah.
a little bit anyway, and,
Mhm. And the
uh,
guys at the top, they just kinda
they were
put their
having
foot on
fun.
your tube, and they, like, kick you down. They, like, do
The
a
one
little
guy was
dance and
doing
kick you down, and they
yeah.
loved it.
He was spinning the air and kick it down. So they were Spanish speaking. I don't want to say that they were Mexican, but they were Spanish speaking gentlemen, and they were
They
just
were
having a good
yeah.
old time.
They had a little radio up there and everything,
Yeah,
so they were having a good time.
yeah. And the one guy almost fell down the slide a few different times. Like
Kicking too hard.
he would
Yeah.
do a jump spin at like 360 and like kick your tube, and then he would slip and almost fall down the hill. So it was super cool that they would let you go down together as well. That they were just you would have to hold on to each other's tubes so that you stayed together, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like all that fast or anything. Um, it was a very good time. It was worth the
Yeah.
money. Like the line wasn't too long. The longest line we waited in was the first time around. So that's what I was saying. We were aiming for 6 times because the line was kind of long the first time, but then after that, I mean, we hit 6 times, like I said, in the first hour. So
Yeah, it was fun.
it was a good
I
time.
really love that because I miss I don't miss living in the snow, but I do miss sledding and tubing and things like that. Like, I don't want it in my backyard, but I want to be able to do it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
and
that was
then
great.
after that, I think we hit up Dollar General and then
Yep, and
just
then we
went
went
home.
home and I made some, baked ziti and meatballs and garlic bread and salad. We ate well again, and then we went to
Oh yeah,
a
so
Christmas candlelight service there's a lodge on the property, an old lodge that's now a Bible study
Yeah, so one
building.
of those old mountain
So
ski resort lodges type deal, they made into a community Bible church.
yeah, so he said, let's go to the candlelight service. And I was expecting like a full church service, and he's not expecting anything because he doesn't really know what a full church service entails anyway. But it was really nice. Everybody was very welcoming. They had like coffee and cookies, and then you go into the church part, and it was just singing a few Christmas carols, and then lighting some candles and saying some prayers, and that was it. So it wasn't really like a full church service, but it was still very beautiful.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was my first church
They loved his
service.
hat. I can't remember which hat. Did you wear this one? Or oh no, you
No.
wore King of Kings,
Yeah, so
and
my
they loved
gold
it.
one that says
They ate it
Christ,
up.
King of Kings, I love Jesus with the praying hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had many people come over. Well, not
Yeah.
many. I had like 4 people come over and say something to me about it. They're like, "Oh, I love your hat." Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
usually your shirt and your hat, people are like, "Oh."
Yeah, but I was dressed nicely. I didn't have any of my cool Jesus shirts on. I was dressed up. I had on my picture day shirt.
Your picture day.
Well, that's what I bought it for. We bought it for
Oh
you wanted me to
my.
have a red shirt for pictures.
Uh-huh.
And then when it came down to it, you were going to be the only one that didn't wear red and forgot that you told everyone else to make sure they had something red. So, anyway, I wore that shirt and I had my hat on. And, it was a really nice time. It was actually my
I love to
spirit
hear that.
cried. Uh, what?
Go ahead.
My,
I was
uh,
reading, sorry.
so my spirit, when I say my spirit cried, sometimes I have this energy come over me that just forces tears out of my eye. I'm not a big crier, even, sad stuff. Many different things can happen, but I'm not someone who cries very often. But sometimes the Holy Spirit, it just comes over you and forces you to cry. And especially in that situation, being the energetic reflector that I am, I'm taking on everyone else's energy there, and I'm a little side note, whenever I'm anywhere, I do breath work. I'm doing breathing exercises, and I'm consuming in all of the consciousness around me, and I'm transmuting it through myself. So sometimes I feel people are being nervous, their heart's beating fast, or they're anxious, or their mind is elsewhere, or whatever. And I just bring everyone to the now and present, and it really helps them uh, focus on what's happening. So in that setting, I'm looking around and I see people crying as I'm crying. So it's like the Holy Spirit is forcing tears out of me as it's coming out of other people. And we were singing, I was participating in the singing. I don't have a great singing voice, but I'm trying
Yeah, it was
to
like
garner that.
Silent Night, Joy to the World, and O Come Emmanuel, I think, were the 3 songs,
Yeah, O
I
Come
think.
Emmanuel was the first one.
Yeah.
So it was like I
You're like,
didn't
"I'm here."
I didn't introduce myself as that. I introduced myself as Todd Armstrong.
Yeah.
I didn't want to try to take away or make the spotlight about me in any way at all. That's not what I am here for. So when I went to church, I want to observe, and I'm thinking about going to many different church services just to observe and see how things are, to bear witness to it, essentially. So it was very, very nice. So after that, we went home and, we had fires every single
Oh,
night.
yeah, we spent a lot of money on wood for the
We did.
fireplace.
We spent
Yeah.
over $100 on wood.
It was great, though. I
It
would
was
do it
worth it.
again.
Yeah.
We had a good dinner. We,
Yeah, you
opened up
made
a
baked
Christmas
ziti
gift
and
each,
meatballs, and
as
we had
per tradition.
salad. Yeah. And I
I
realized that I brought one of my niece's gifts with us instead of sending it up to Pennsylvania, and I was about to give
Yeah.
it to you to open. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
which one do you want? Medium, large, or small?" You say medium, and it's not even yours.
I think I opened the pajamas that night.
Yes, you
I
did.
got nice, like, soft pajamas, so I put those on, and I think that's when you got the puzzle, so we started a puzzle. Nice cabin lakeside. It was a cute little puzzle for staying in the mountains. So I
Yeah.
figure we'll do this.
It
We
was
played
like
some dominoes.
turned out it was what we did on Sunday is what the picture was. I mean, it was we
Absolutely
went to the lake
100% like we
that it was.
right.
You know, and
Yeah.
this is how our co-creative abilities
Yeah.
with God really work, is that we get this puzzle and we're putting it together. We're putting the pieces
Took
together.
us 3 days. That was a hard puzzle.
Yeah, we finished it that same night that I'm talking about, Sunday. And
Mhm.
you know, so the idea of this place is put in our heads, and then we just go to a place where, oh, this is it. This is the photo that we're doing the puzzle for. You know, that's how co-creating works. When you are just aligned with God's will, God shows you, reveals things to you, gives you more responsibility, gives you more power, gives you more understanding, gives you more love. This is how life really works. And you know, there's nothing more that could prove it to me, because you
Hmm.
know, belief isn't a word that I have in me anymore. It's just, it's not even conviction. It's just, this is what it is. You know, there is no other way about it, that this is how life operates. This is the realm that we're in. It operates that way. When you align with God's will, God gives you things, and he shows things to you in a way that if you're not paying attention to it, you won't notice it. But as soon as you pay attention, it's everywhere. It's everything. It's how everything operates. Everything is a complete ball of existence, that every moment is the now moment that spawns off the rest of all of creation, and it circles back in this ball form. So if you can imagine, you know, like coming off like every single angle, all these little stripes that are timelines that are all converging into this one point in time, and this one point in time is converging out to all these many points of time. You know, that's how it all operates. uh, but anyway, uh, getting back to our timeline here,
Back
this
on track.
timeline.
Okay,
Christmas,
welcome back.
Christmas Day.
Christmas, we decided we weren't going to do like anything strenuous, not just because everything was closed, but we just wanted a day to just chill and be together and relax.
Yeah, and in the country, especially in the mountains, you know, Christmas Day. Well, firstly, when you're in a religious area that we're in, like Georgia, Sundays mostly everything's closed already.
Yeah, on Monday.
Well, I just mean where we live.
Yeah.
Sundays everything is typically closed. And then when you add on like religious, like a holiday, Christmas, you know, there's going to be nothing open. Nobody's going to work that day. You know, nowhere, no one is going to be open. So we already knew that. So we wanted to take it nice and easy.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even like to be open on Wednesdays, let alone Sundays.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it wasn't Sunday; it was a Saturday.
I know. I'm just saying.
Right. So we took a beautiful hike
Not
where.
yet. First, we found some pickleball rackets in the closet, and we did pickleball first.
Mm,
No?
no, that was the next day.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, so we.
Leave it to me to be wrong. Surprise.
Yeah, I found the stuff that day, but we used it the next day.
Although, again, it's in my notes. I messed it up.
That's
We
all
went
right.
over this so that I wouldn't mess up, and here we are messing up because it wasn't correct. Thanks for double checking me. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so beautiful hike.
So we take this beautiful hike where Mimi
Literally,
is,
again, right down the street from us, beautiful waterfalls
yeah,
that we didn't know were there.
yeah, and we had to take. So my phone didn't work. AT&T did not work up there. So we had a landline that we would use to call the kids, and we used my car's GPS, and it was pretty on point actually.
Yeah, it was.
But my phone was no good at all. But we used the car's GPS, and it took us to this beautiful waterfall, and we took this
It's
hike.
called Mud Creek Falls.
And we took this hike that was, I think it like
2 miles
probably,
or
yeah, a
something, I
mile
think.
each way, a
Yeah,
mile and a half each
total.
way or something.
Mhm.
And it was, we hiked all the way down the mountain.
But it starts at the waterfall, so even if you didn't want to do the hike, you're like boom right at the waterfall when you get there.
Yeah. and we didn't know exactly where we were going to, but we end up at the bottom of the mountain. In the beginning of this, I said we had to go through North Carolina for a little
And
stretch.
spiral up and around.
Yeah. So in that, when we're hiking down, we got to a place where like, oh, this is where we go up and around the mountain. And then
We were so far down.
there was a scenic overlook that we got a photo from. This photo, my background right here, I think this was from
That's
Blackrock
from
Mountain.
Blackrock. That's not yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a scenic overlook that I got pictures of. Mimi did.
Beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And that was on the way to our Airbnb or on the way away from it. So when we take this hike, we end up there, like 20 feet from there, and we're like, oh, we didn't
Yeah, we're like,
know.
we can't believe we hiked this far.
Mhm. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was 2 miles of or a mile and a half of a hike, but it was like a 20-minute drive because you're,
And this is where the bear ordeal comes in. the non-existent bear. So we're on this path, right? So there's like 3 or 4 cars in this one section, then there's 2 other cars in this other
Just
section
get
where we
to
parked.
it.
So there is like 5 other cars there, 4 or 5 other cars that we know are there. So these people have to be somewhere around there. There were some people chilling by the waterfall.
We get it. There's people there.
Right. But so then we're walking this path for a good quarter mile, maybe half mile. We don't see anybody. And then she
turn and book it.
She takes off and screams, "Bear!" And I'm like, "What?" And I look and
it's a bear.
I'm like, "It's a dog on a leash."
No, he was like, "Wait, let me look." And he turns and he's like, "It's not a bear, it's a dog." And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes." My legs are shaking like I just climbed the gorge.
I didn't say let me turn and look. I turned and looked at you and I'm like, it's a dog on a leash. It was 2 dogs on 2 leashes with 2 people.
Let me tell you about this fat brown
not
poodle looking bear cub.
It was
should
curly hair.
Should not walk your big fat bear cub looking dog on a trail.
Well, I mean, I see why she could think that maybe it was a bear at first sight.
Because it was a little fat
but it was
thing
hilarious.
with curly brown hair, like a brown bear.
But it was hilarious because she's running as if she's going to be able to run from a bear. Like,
and I don't know where I'm running because you're running uphill. It's like that's.
She wasn't even trying to run on.
I didn't even know where to go. My legs were like, nope, they were about to give out.
She was trying to run into the woods, not back to civilization where the bear wouldn't want to go to. No, she was trying to run into the woods. She didn't even.
I didn't even make it that far. I made like 4 steps, and he's like, no.
She made it 4 steps before she said a word. She just took off and was going to let me fend for myself.
I was trying to get myself a head start.
Yeah. But it was
very scary, and my
hilarious.
legs like wanted to give out. That was like instant fear in my legs. My legs.
Yeah, that's the spirit of fear. God did not give you the spirit of fear. So anytime that fear pops up in us,
and then he like tells them as we walk by, he's like, "She thought your dog was a bear," and he tells them the whole story.
Yeah, because it was hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Well, she did say, to be fair, the owner said that they were down at the water and the dog went into the water and was shaken off, and she was like, "Oh my God, it does look like a bear." So
because it does, little fat little fur ball.
Man.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm glad we survived that encounter. So it was cool. So when
I had a walking stick too, I'm running with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I had a big old walking stick too. I would have defended us. So anyway, at the end of our trail was a covered bridge, which was missing the land
walkway to it.
Yeah, there was one. It was
like a 2x6.
Yeah, it was,
or a 1x6.
It was probably like 12 feet long, and it was only like not even 2 feet wide, like 1 foot wide, and like 1 to 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
This plank that you walk the plank like in order to
if you wanted to get on the covered bridge, and we did it. I climbed up a different way, and then I walked across it back.
Yeah, she was terrified to walk back.
Of course,
she wanted me.
I need railings.
She was like, "Wait, let me hold on to you." It's like, I don't know if this wood plank can hold me. I don't want to be on here with you trying to hold me.
Once upon a time, I was on a wood plank and I fell into the ocean and got hooked underneath the water and almost drowned. So,
that's true.
I don't want to cross a bridge that is
She was made to walk
literally
a
this
plank.
big. And,
Yeah,
I
so
would have landed on cement or rocks, but,
yeah, she almost died, and some angel saved her. Well, some
yes,
person,
some
but
stranger, yes.
yeah, dove on her because no one else was paying attention.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know how old I was, maybe 6 or 7. I just knew that I didn't ever want to go there again.
Yeah. So anyway, we walked back, and then we just enjoyed Christmas. It was just a slow
Mhm.
day. We watched some Christmas movies, I think, on
Yeah,
Christmas Eve and
we watched
Christmas
The
Day.
Princess Bride, or I made him watch
Yeah.
The Princess Bride.
Yeah, and I think I had seen bits and pieces of it
Mhm.
before already. Some of the
I
dual
can't
ends seem
remember
familiar.
the names of the other movies we might have watched when we were there. I
The
did
one with
bring the
David
Fire
Hasselhoff
Stick
was
because I
actually
knew there was no cable.
that was new to me.
David Hasselhoff.
The Christmas
Oh, yeah.
Consultant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some Hallmark stuff I
Yeah,
threw
but
on
that was
while
a
you
new
were-
one to me. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. At least it's not the same old, same old. Yeah, we had the Fire Stick, and we put on, I think
Whatever
it's
we
like
wanted.
IMDb TV or whatever.
Yeah, whatever we wanted.
Yeah,
We
so
had another steak dinner.
yeah, so I grilled steak.
Uh-huh.
So we had a little grill
Yeah.
already, and we had charcoal, and I went outside and I grilled steak for us
We
in
had the rest of the
70-degree
shrimp.
weather on Christmas. Yeah, I fried up the shrimp in oil this time, not butter. We got some oil and fried it up in that. We also had veggies that we put in the oven. So the same type of thing that we had the first time we had steak.
I forget who makes those griller things, but those
Yeah, I don't
veggies are
know.
delicious.
Yeah, they're sold at
They're like in little aluminum pans already, and you just chuck them in the oven or on the grill. But they have
like
a whole bunch of
potatoes,
different
onions,
kinds, different
peppers,
combos, and they're all
asparagus.
delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we did that, and then the
And we
next,
opened presents, the rest of our presents.
yeah, I think we each had like one
Oh,
left or
yeah.
something.
Oh, you can show your on-air
Oh yeah,
sign.
yeah. Let me show my present.
Yeah, this
Hold
is
on a
pretty
second.
cool, except I don't know where we're gonna put it.
I know. I
because of
want to.
Oh, I don't know what it's gonna do if you turn it on. Oh,
Can you
it's
see
gonna
it light
block.
up?
Oh yeah, they see it. But it turns all different colors. It flashes. All right, it's getting killed by the green screen a little bit, or we are anyway.
Yeah, let me turn it off. So yeah, Mimi got that for me. I
Just gotta
wish
figure out where to put it.
I might get some kind of desk or something to put behind me so I can have
Yeah, 'cause
stuff on
there's room.
screen. Well, I would get rid of the green screen and just have stuff behind me. I like the cool stuff. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Imagine
We'll see what happens. But anyway, we have a lot of cool stuff that
Oh,
I like to
so
have on.
okay. So after the next day was Blackrock, right? The day
Yeah,
after
Sunday.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it was Christmas when we found the rackets in the closet. I didn't even know we had some. I know they had like some games and some puzzles and some books and some DVDs already
Yeah, it was
kind of
all the way
stocked
at the
in the
top.
house. Nothing
You were too
like.
short to probably say it.
Yeah, thanks.
It was way up at the
But
top.
they had like tennis balls and golf balls if you wanted to golf. 'Cause there was a golf course right there. There was a golf.
I didn't know they had
Yeah,
well,
resort or
why
club.
did it just get this way? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why it just got all fuzzy.
I don't know either.
It does that sometimes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Looks like that movie we just watched.
Yeah, it looks like you're from the 70s.
Oh, cool. All right, I'll take it. I am from the 70s. Ha!
So
Believe it or not.
so then the Sunday we went to Blackrock Mountain, which
Well, we did pickleball first.
yeah, we played tennis
That was fun.
on a pickleball court and
Lost a lot of balls. I don't know how he hit them out of the fence,
and they
but
actually
I
had
did.
a tennis court. Yeah, I hit some out too. They actually had a tennis court, but it wasn't anywhere near the pickleball court. So we saw it afterwards, and we're like, oh, it would have been much better to play tennis on the larger tennis court.
Yeah, but we were on the public ones, and the other one really did belong to the golf
I don't know
resort.
if they did or not, but they might have.
We
But
did.
it was a really nice place anyway. I think we probably could have got on.
Oh, I hate that we're not clear now.
I know it's annoying.
I know it's bugging you.
Yeah. Well, usually I would just exit it out, but we're
But you
live.
can't when you're
Yeah,
live.
so can't do anything about it.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Just be a little
That's probably 'cause
distorted in the matrix.
Probably because I turned on that on-air sign, so it's trying to recalibrate.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went to Blackrock Mountain, which was very, very cool.
Elevation 3446 with
Yeah.
big bear country signs everywhere. So you can imagine how excited I was for these trails.
Yeah. She was.
Very, very, very high up, much higher up than
Yeah.
even the gorge.
And they tell you,
Triple the
don't
size.
feed the bears because that's just going to lead to
Yeah,
them
walk
coming.
away slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Lots of different stuff like that all around.
We did not see any though. So
Yeah.
no dogs that look like bears. No,
We did the overlook of Blue Ridge Mountain. Got a lot of photos
which
of
is
that.
what you see. Well, this is the
This
top.
is Blackrock.
Yeah, this is the top overlook where you can see so much. It was so pretty.
Yeah, like those clouds, they were like straight on. I mean, you can see it when you look at this photo. Like where I took the photo from, this was like we were above clouds in some areas. Super cool.
A lot of our pictures do no justice to what we saw with our
they
own eyes.
don't.
I mean, it was just beautiful everywhere we went, every trail we did, every rock formation, every tree, every waterfall, every stream, every lake. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was super cool. So then that was.
So we went down.
Then we did
Blackrock Mountain to Blackrock Lake, and
yeah.
that was a very small, like
that was magic.
1 mile trail around the lake, and it was we got some cool pictures of me and my
Really
little light
cool
beam
photos.
standing next to me.
I should have uploaded
lots
some
of
on
them.
here.
Oh man, you don't have them.
Let's see. I might be able to pull it up if we can talk
I don't
through
know.
it.
I can talk through it. So we were walking just around the lake, and there was a big like boulder kind of that sat in the lake a little bit. So I went and stood on it and let him take some pictures, and I was holding my little walking stick, and there was like this light beam just right next to me, and I put my hand down. It looked like the light beam was in my hand, and I stared at it. It looked like I was staring at it. Now I'm sure it's some sort of no,
not yet.
It's getting there. Some sort of lens sun issue, whatever. Or
no, this was.
I just love what it is.
She had no idea that this was here. So here, let me get.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was just telling him. I was just posing the way he was telling me to move. He was like, "Put your hand out, move over."
So look at this. I mean, this beam of light here. She had no idea that was there. Like she had no idea. Yeah, she had no idea.
It's me and my buddy.
So this is the first one, I think.
What's that song? Me and my buddy.
Okay, so here, let me get to this one. So this is the first one. I'm zoomed out, right? I see that the internet's unstable right now, probably because I'm running this as well.
Oh.
But you can see the different lights that are going on.
And the one with you and me, and the
I'll get to that one. But there's different lights going on, right? So then I zoom in a little bit more, and you can see a little right here, but you can't really see anything else. And then the next one, boom, it's right there, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's like over my walking stick.
And like it, so then I zoomed out, and I was like, oh, it's not there. Then I zoomed back in just enough, and then you have this here again, and I was like,
it's giving me the chills just looking.
I was like, look to your left, and she puts her hand out, does that, and then she's staring at it, and it's just like this magical beam of light that's just there. Then
there's these.
Then I start taking a couple selfies of us, and you can see these little dots right here. So they really spark up. I mean, I guess because the sun is what's because I'm taking the picture right into the sun is what's giving all this glare off, right? But this, I mean,
I don't know if that would account for the glare over there. I don't know.
No,
the
not
top
for all
I can
those.
understand, but maybe
I meant the bottom and the sides.
Yeah, look at my hand too.
Yeah,
that's very weird. It's kind of faded out at the bottom there.
Yeah, and then
that's really it. Oh, I have there's more.
And then this one, her hand is like all fuzzy looking from the sun. It was, it was just very
like,
magical.
Put your hand out now. Move back over.
Yeah.
Stop moving.
Well, she kept moving as I'm trying to take a photo.
I can't see what he saw, so I didn't know. Anyway, he was at the top of this really big hill.
Yeah, so
the lake was beautiful.
That was then we went to Fortify Pie again, where we each got our own burger. We split the Caesar salad, and we split a pizza, and we split fried mozzarella. and we took the
So
rest of the
good.
pizza
Oh, and
home.
then we took cannolis home too.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
didn't eat because
They
she
were
doesn't eat
chocolate and
chocolate.
they
Yeah,
were
they were
like pudding.
chocolate.
They were not cannolis.
It was like
That's the one
Minnesota.
thing they couldn't do was a
That's
cannoli.
why I told her it was like Minnesota. It was
It
like
was
almost authentic, but it was like
it was
still.
like chocolate custard. It wasn't even anything close to a cannoli, like a real cannoli filling.
Yeah.
So I was a little upsetting, but whatever. I
But I
didn't
got
need
to
it.
eat
I
both of
ate
them.
so
They were
much.
they were pretty good to me.
Yeah, you ate both of them.
So that was our last day. Then the next day, we didn't do
I
anything.
went
We drove
home,
home.
packed up.
Took hours longer than it should have. Oh, and actually,
Oh, we
so
cleaned up a lot of trash on that last hike too.
oh yeah,
Not the Blackrock, but the Mud Creek Falls. I forgot about that.
oh yeah, and a couple
Yeah.
people gave us compliments.
Yeah.
We did have a lot of trash. We had several of those
Little
little
Santa sack
Walmart
full.
bags, and then we put them into a bigger trash bag
Yeah.
because it got to be too much for the little one. So, glad to help out where we can. That's what I always do, and I typically wouldn't even talk about that on air. I don't like to say my good deeds in
No, but we
public
like to
because it's not
clean up,
something that I don't care to have praise for me. So it's all glory to God. So I'm just doing it for God. So it is something we did, but it's not something I like to talk about. But anyway, so on our trip home, it took us hours longer than it should have, and when we get about 20 minutes from home, Malcolm Welch.
Forgot about the Sunday service.
Oh yeah, we went to Sunday. We went to church before we went to pickleball.
Yeah, Nomad, always leave a place nicer than you entered it.
Yeah. So anyway, what I was saying with Malcolm, so he called and he has received some assistance that he needed, and he wanted me to say on air that he's doing well now and that he has gotten a grasp on
being grounded,
things. Yeah, he
grounding
was
himself.
on my birthday episode. He was a little not himself, I will say. So I'm glad that he got the assistance that he needed.
He called to acknowledge his behavior and
Yeah.
apologize for it, and
And he wanted me
let
to
us know
tell
how
everyone
he was doing.
he's doing much better now.
So that was really nice.
Yes, it was. And it was a great way to cap off the
Yeah.
vacation.
Mhm.
And he wouldn't have called. We wouldn't have been in the car if we got home on time. So obviously, God does everything for a reason. So we both got to speak to him and hear him, which we wouldn't have if I was at home and I just pick up the phone. So it all happens the way it does. And that was.
And the last day,
our
the
trip.
drive home, the drive that should have taken, this many hours took that many hours.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
Yeah.
It was slow going, but whatever.
Yeah, and we're almost done here. We probably go for about another 10 minutes or so. So I just wanted to touch on the year in review, just a brief thing. Everyone does their final thing of the year and blah blah blah. It was this year was the best year of my life. I know a lot of people struggled this year, and a lot more people are going to struggle a lot more next year. I do want to say that, I have these prophetic visions and understandings, and I get things given to me, not completely, but pieces that are given to me in advance. And I do want to say 2022 it's going to be, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, the craziness has not started. Like, what we see now, that is nothing compared to what's coming. 2022 is going to be wild. Like, you have no idea. So reflect on 2021 and everything that happened, and understand that it all happened in the way it was supposed to, the only way it was supposed to. And it happened exactly at the right time, and everything occurred according to the grand plan for all of humanity to get to the best possible place that we can get to. And it takes some hard stuff to go through in order to get there. So, this year
It's
I
a
started this
great year.
podcast in the middle of April. I have over 100 episodes that I've uploaded on my audio feed. Let's see if I can pull up how many exactly real quick. I know that I have uh, 85 regular episodes, but I also have the human race. I also have uh,
Worship in the Storm,
yeah, worship in the storm. I also have these bonus episodes.
the best ones. No, I'm just
Yeah, I'm now at over 11.2 thousand downloads on
It's
just the
great.
audio, which is fantastic. I am very appreciative of everybody out there. So we have 106 total episodes that are uploaded. The Human Race number 4, Breaking Out of the Box, was just came out.
11177. Look at that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at
Mm,
11,177 downloads to date as of this recording. So that's interesting numbers. Um, it was a great time, and I am
yes.
so happy that I connected with so many different people. I started my website, I started my blog, I started getting in touch. I've gotten in touch with so many different creators, content creators, and like I'm friends now with some Christian rappers.
I want to be clear. Darn, it's bothering me.
Yeah, you wanted that on air sign to be
I
turned
know
on.
it's my fault.
Well, I'm not saying it's your fault, but you wanted it on, and now this is the result. So anyway, I'm friends with
Sounds
some
like
Christian rappers now. I've grown so much into Christ. I've, Andy and I have worship in the storm together. It's an amazing thing to make some of the connections, well, all of the connections that I've made, even people who I see things very differently from, like Dan Unaki Dan. Him and I talk pretty frequently. He does my show, I do
I like
his
listening to
show, we
his
do
shows.
group
Yeah.
shows together. You know, because even though we see things very differently, we still understand each other, and we we have
Mm-hmm.
there's something that we
It's a
share
mutual
in the
respect.
middle. Yeah, that
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, that Mimi and I have Jesus in the middle of our relationship. Well, Dan and I don't have Jesus in the middle of our relationship, but we have this centralized understanding and compassion for one another, that we can see things from the other person's point of view. And it's really good to have people who see things differently from you, so you're not falling into cognitive dissonance, so you're
Right.
not
You
being
reach people where they
misled.
are, and that's what you guys are good at.
Right, and you're not being misled, because once you start getting into a box of being with people who only think like you, then you start getting trapped into these into these circles of endless nonsense. Uh, like it when I was, or when we were into QAnon and Trump, we were surrounded by people who were thinking the same way. So we're like, of course it's going to be that. But then it wasn't that. So learning from that, I purposely surround myself with people who I can get along with, that don't think anything like me, so that I stay grounded and I can better know humanity. I can better know myself. I can better reach other people. I need to learn from everybody I talk to, so that I can reach people who think that way. So, what do you mean trust the pandemic? Occupy while
I
it's
would
if you
just
could.
say the answer is no. No,
Well,
I know.
I mean, it's radiation poisoning 100%, and I got to be careful of what I say here on YouTube.
Sure.
Uh, but it is definitely radiation poisoning. That is 100% what's happening. So, um, yeah, 2021 was a special year. The Q thing you said. Yeah, I did trust the plan. That's something, but to me, Trump is completely controlled, and I saw it at times when I was following it, and I would not follow it, and I could see that it was deception, but then I would fall back into it. But now, once the inauguration happened, that's when my injury happened. Was the day after the inauguration. That's what's so important. or it was 2 days after the inauguration. I want everyone to realize that I connected with Jesus once I
Yeah, you
deleted
can.
my Twitter and Facebook, and I said, I'm done with this. And then I got injured, and that's when Christ saved me. And ever since then, I've been with Christ. What were you going
Yeah,
to say?
you can have hope and trust and faith in a savior, or you can have hope and trust and faith in the savior.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah. And it's the way that I know Jesus Christ is not some person that's going to come back. The
Me either, Occupy.
it is the Jesus Christ is the life essence of everybody and everything. Jesus Christ, if you can imagine that all of creation is like this centralized figure, right? And then there's extensions, like the centralized figure being my palm here, and there's extensions of it being my fingers. Each of them are extensions. We are the extensions. All of physical creation is the extension of this, right? So that is Jesus Christ is, and he's not. I don't think. I don't know. I have to dig into the Bible a little bit more to have a better understanding of Yeshua and John the Baptist, because I do know that many people were becoming Christ all at once in the Bible. I don't know exactly what
I kind of
everything
feel like the
is.
Christ in you awakens. I think that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
more so that not that you're becoming Christ, but the
Oh no,
Christ
no, you
in
become
you.
Christ. No, it's a switch out. It's definitely a switch. Like Todd Armstrong has ascended and Emmanuel Kingman has descended upon me. Jesus Christ, in the name of Emmanuel Kingman, has descended upon me. Todd Armstrong is pretty much gone. He's ascended. I've switched places. So it's a weird thing, but yes, Christ is always in you and can always awaken in you, but there's a further stage and where you give yourself over completely so that he
Yeah,
can work
that
through
rises
your
above.
vessel.
Right.
Yeah,
It
and
resurrects,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
basically.
And I've been seeing the last few days that he's in this position where he's like sleeping, but he's like fully formed now, but he's still sleeping just a little bit. Whereas before he wasn't even there. Now he's fully formed and sleeping and about to awaken. So it's all very interesting. Yeah. So
I would like to say on behalf of Todd and myself, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you
yes.
for watching. Thank you
Thank you
for
for donating.
supporting. Thank
Yes.
you for
Thank you for the energy work, hitting me up for that.
helping me overcome my fear of the camera and the audio and all of this.
Yeah, and Nomad, we will definitely be getting into the Bible study.
Yes.
Like I said,
Not sure when that's going to start.
yeah, I don't know when that's going to start.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to start it the second Sunday, but now I'm interviewing
Mm,
Howdy McCoskey at the
thank you.
time. Uh, I'll read the comments here in a second, but Howdy McCoskey, I'm interviewing him that day at that time. That's when he could link up. So, that's a pretty good interview. So I'm going to do that. And that happening shows me that God doesn't want me to start on that day. So I don't know exactly how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. Right. It's all God's timing. So we're going to do it then. And I really appreciate
Ooh,
all of you
chills.
guys. And God bless you all too. This is a team effort that we're all on the same team. We're all just uh, different aspects that need to fill out the full spectrum. And yeah,
Yep.
yeah, we're going to be starting with John.
Probably John. Yeah.
Yeah, because I read John already. I'm in Matthew now, and then I'm going to go through, in order. I'm going to focus on the Gospels. That's what I really want to
Where
focus
you want
on.
to start at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm going to focus because that I think that's what I'm being led to, so that I can help others understand that they too are Christ, have Christ in them, can have Christ awaken in them, and to understand Christ better, you know. Uh, And this year, my daughter Maya, she has really changed in a dramatic, loving way. She's becoming such a beautiful young lady. I mean, she's always beautiful, but I mean a beautiful soul where she put down all the Billie Eilish nonsense. She's stopped doing a lot of the things that she was into. She's fighting her own demons, and she's becoming such a lovely lady. She's When we were on vacation, she was actually excited to talk to me, whereas before she would be annoyed and she
She would
would
want to get off the
want to get off the
phone.
phone immediately. But this, she wanted to tell me about what was going on. She wanted to open up to me. And I think her being away and having other people being, quote unquote, parenting her as she's with my parents and with my brother and his wife at different times. She stays at each of their houses.
Yeah, I think she has a whole new perspective now.
Yeah, she understands, like, oh, well, when my dad's upset with me, he's trying to help me not become upset again instead of just yelling at me for what I did. Whereas
Mm.
everyone else are just, they're yelling at me just to yell at me. And my dad doesn't do that. So I think she's appreciating that. And she's just growing into such a lovely young lady. Yeah, so 2021, best year of my life.
Yeah. One for the books.
Yes, sir. And
Ma'am.
capped off.
That's ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And capped off by the best vacation of my life. Like I said, I've collected myself. There are pieces of me that I felt were too astral, and I was starting to exercise. I think the week before, maybe like 10 days before the vacation, I really started to exercise again. And since we've been back, I've been exercising.
Mm-hmm.
I really, you know, we have to sin somewhat in order to reach people. We can't be too high up because then you can't reach anybody. If you can't speak to people and you can only live in a mountain because you're vibrating at such a high level, if you're a monk in a monastery, that's because you can't communicate with the rest of humanity. You just can't. You have to, quote unquote, sin to keep yourself in a lower state. So I switched off from where I was ripped and I was vibrating at such a high level. Meditation and exercise were my two things. To then I gave
Jump to
that up.
gluttony.
Yeah, essentially. And because I wasn't masturbating or anything before I met you, this was like I was really committed to raising my vibration, and
Mhm.
I did it, no doubt about it. But now you and I met, and what that really did was that forced me to get another job because I wasn't working because of the pandemic. So I was forced to actually work, which forced me to talk to people, which then changed up my schedule and routine to a point where I couldn't work out because of everything was just thrown off. I'm with a new person in a new place and this and that. So many different things I didn't lose it forever, but I lost that for a long time to be able to reach people at a certain level. And now I'm ready to raise up again as I'm in my 33rd year, and I am all hands on deck in raising up my vibrations. And we got some fireworks going off in the background because it's getting closer to midnight now. It's about to be 10 p.m. here on the East Coast. So I want to say Happy New Year, even though New Year's is the day of Janus and we celebrate the ball drop, BAAL or BA''AL, Baal drop. It's the day of Saturn worshiping time, rewinding the disc. So many different fake gods that's what New Year's Eve is all about.
You should
So
know
really
what to
fuck New
expect.
Year's, but I do want to say that there's a lot of people that ragged on Christmas, which annoyed me. But then those same people aren't ragging on New Year's. That really annoys me. Keep that same energy. Don't try coming after Christ. Without trying to come after actual pagan shit. Christmas isn't a pagan holiday. It may have pagan things in it now. The tree may have been added in. The Odin Santa Claus thing may have been added in, but that is the day of Christ. That is the day. That is the reconciliation of the Lord, which is now has been perverted to New Year's Day, is the reconciliation, which is the disc being rewound instead of what they used to do on the before was every 7 years debt would be wiped free from everybody and money would be collected from everybody and given back so that like new coins were given back so that everyone was starting at an equal point. We don't do that no more. We don't reconcile anything like that anymore. That's
Nope.
what the reconciliation used to be about with Christmas, the eating all of the different foods and what all that. It's just, uh New Year's is the worst holiday that there is. It's you're consuming spirits and you're watching the ball drop. It's just uh yeah, it's just another day, and it annoys me that people are so willing to attack Christ. Like, how many podcasts did you come across that talked about Satan or Satan Claus or Christmas having pagan roots and this and that, and you hear crickets on New Year's. Not one person mentions about Janus. The people don't even know about Janus because January is in Janus's honor, and people don't even know it but they rag on Christmas. Come on, guys, you got to do better than that. If you're going to hold the energy if you're going to try to attack Christ, because it's cool for whatever reason, society thinks it's cool to attack Christ in whichever form they can, because Christ holds them to a higher standard. So they think Christ is attacking them because he's just there, like, oh, you can be perfect. You can stop sinning whenever. You can do that. I'm the example of that. And so they want to attack it and pull it down and tear it down. No, I want to sin. Don't tell me that that's a Christ day. That's all nonsense. It's because they are upset
Just do
with
better
themselves.
every day.
Well, no, but this really upsets me that people attack Christ, think that they can attack Christ, but not attack something that's actually pagan. It's really annoying. So,
Do you think that annoys him?
yes. Yeah. So, no, I'm not
feeling a
talking
little
about you,
energy
Occupy
here.
Wallets here.
No.
Yeah, we're here glorifying God, but it just, for whatever reason, society and the conspiracy theory community especially, they think it's okay to attack Christ and poke any holes in Christ so that they can say Christ isn't perfect, because Christ is perfect and they don't want to be held to that standard. They want to sin. That is the bottom line. If you don't want to sin, then you start to turn to Christ and you start to try to understand Christ. And even though we do all sin,
Yeah, it's a very hard road. I mean, it
yeah,
really is.
we do all sin, it's almost impossible. Our bodies have urges that
Very
want us
hard.
to sin. So that's what the beauty of Christ being perfect really is. Like, oh, he was perfect. There's not one bad story ever anyone has ever told about Christ. All they can do is say made up shit that, oh, Christmas is a pagan holiday and it's not even Jesus's birth. And where in the Bible does it say celebrate Jesus's birth? Well, it has nothing to do with Jesus. Christ was here long before Jesus. That's what people don't understand. The birth of creation was that day. That's what that's why they stole that day, because it's a magnetic holiday. It's a special time of year. It was used by bad people who were trying to impersonate that. Oh, now I'm God, now worship me, my birth is December 25th. And people say that there was no December 25th before like 1500. That was not a thing. So when I hear Osiris was born December 25th and Mithras, they didn't have December 25th. So that's all nonsense. People don't know where they're getting this information from. Just like when we had on Ken Ami and he talked about the virgin births. Like, yeah, Buddha was a virgin birth because his mother had a dream that a white rhino or a white elephant impregnated her through her ribs. And Mithras was a virgin birth because he came from a rock.
That's fired up right now.
That's all nonsense. It's nonsense. People don't even know where they're getting this information from. They just hear someone say it one time and they run with it. but it's not even true. December 25th wasn't a day before the 1500s. So tell me how
Occupy
Osiris
must be
and
talking to me.
Mithras were born on those days. Yeah, haters are gonna hate, and that is the way that it is. And trolls are gonna troll. I just that's one thing that, and I feel Christ was very upset about it too, because I had everybody all over my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Everyone's talking about Christmas in a bad way, leading up to and on Christmas Day, and crickets. Not even crickets about New Year's. Not one person did I see say anything. Other Karamosha did say something. I saw that. But outside of her, I didn't see anybody say anything about this. And she's connected with Christ in the same way that energetically through psychic means she's met Christ as well. So, that goes to show you that those of us who are connected with Christ, we're being led to the same things at the same time, at the same understandings, because we're one. And those who aren't with Christ, they make Christ their enemy, and Christ still loves them and wants them to do what they're doing. But I mean, to do the right thing. He wants them to do what they're doing, but he wants them to change it in favor of him because it'll make their lives better. So yeah, making it a gross consumer holiday and putting the name of Christ on it, slapping Santa Claus on it, and then when children find out Santa Claus is fake, then they think Jesus is fake.
They
There's a
think
lot
that
of
you
messed
now
up
have to buy
things.
them whatever they want. And if you don't get them what they want, then they
Right.
just are rude little shits.
Right, and the
because they didn't
tree
get what
and
they wanted.
decorating the tree, and Santa Claus looks like Odin. There's a
don't
lot
get
of
me
messed up
started.
stuff about Christmas. But you don't have to celebrate those parts. When you listen to Christmas music, for myself, I listen to the music of Christ being born, his birth being announced. I love that music. That is really what I get into in this time of year. I haven't been listening to it since Christmas, but I love that. It's one time a year where I start Bing Crosby,
He does.
Andy
He
Williams.
starts playing it super early, and
Well, not super early, in December. I mean, it's beautiful. It really brings it. I connect with Christ big
Yeah.
time. And I mean, 2 years ago, over December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th is when my psychic abilities went from I was just an average everyday citizen to, okay, you're going to be a super psychic soldier for Jesus. Are you ready? Here we go. And then just cracked open. It just happened. And because there's something with that day.
I like that comment. Jesus trolls Satan, and it is pretty hilarious how one-sided it is, because it's true. It's because you don't really have a fight against Jesus, because what he's saying is true, no matter what it is, whether he's trolling or not trolling. It is truth, and you can't really argue with truth. So it is kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, just keep the same
Now
energy.
the tirade is over.
Anyone who's listening to this, if you're one of those people and you're offended by it, well, firstly, I don't even know that you're listening to this, so I'm not talking directly about you. So understand that if you have a guilty conscience,
We're going downhill
that is
here.
because it's not going downhill. If you have a guilty conscience, that's because you feel guilt, not because I am attacking you or I am making you feel a certain way. No, you have guilt in you and it's coming out of you, and you just have to pay attention to why, understand the why part about it. Thank you, Occupy Wallets. We love you as well. So just keep the same energy. If you're going to attack one holiday, well, research all of them. Don't be
Valentine's Day coming up.
attacking
Can't
Christ
wait.
and celebrating drinking spirits and watching balls drop. It's spiritual fornication, and it's a disgusting holiday, and I hate it, and nobody said anything about it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us, guys.
Thank you, and thank you.
So we will see you all later in the new year. We love you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating in whatever capacity that you have been participating in. And hey, hit me up.
See you
Free
next year.
consultations. I just talk to people sometimes, that instead of doing a consultation, some people just they want to have their crazy theories heard by someone and discuss it. So I do that as well. So, free consultation kind of means anything. I'll have like Elias is here in the chat. He came on the podcast. He was a great commenter. I've had T Funk was commenting before about wanting to come on the show. You guys can hit me up if you need someone to chat with. Hit me up.
I like the comment that said "Happy Now Year," which is, I wish everyone a happy, healthy, prosperous Now Year, because you really you have now.
Yeah, it is.
Every day you have now.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out. Thanks for everybody in the chat. I had a great time with you all. Thank you for celebrating with us. And yeah, you do need a
Everyone
good
needs
road
a good
trip.
road trip.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of them.
Yeah, Christmas. Everyone take a vacation over Christmas next year if you can.
We're gonna be like the traveling
if
podcast
that's even
eventually.
a possibility next year.
Sounds like a goal.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We will see you all in 2022.
See you next year.
Love you guys. Bye. Oh, hey, Bree.
Bye, Bree.
Bye.